So here is Rune at the Mustang Open Show, and we are in the dressage class. So coming down the center line, trying to be very straight and coming into our halt. She does a pretty good job of stepping square and trotting off. The nice thing about Rune is he's very smooth. He has very comfortable gaits. He's a little less springy than Fledge. And here I had a little bit of a error mentally. I thought I was in the small arena for a second. The dressage rings have two sizes, the large one and the small. So, whoops, I was supposed to do a 20-meter circle at B, but I fixed it. Luckily, Rune didn't mind, so no worse for the wear. So working on getting him to come up through the hind end. And riding into the corners. Sometimes he likes to get a little low, so I really have to remind him to come through the hind end and ride up to my hand. Very nice and straight across the diagonal. So the thing about Rune, he can always put in a really nice solid test. So now preparing for my canter transition in the corner. And now a 20-meter circle at E. Again, keeping the jump in the canter. He rides very uphill through the wither, which is nice. Now back to the down transition at the trot. And again, he is pretty easy to sit, so makes it for a pretty smooth ride. And now we go into our stretch trot, which he really didn't want to do. He just wanted to hold it. So that's always something I've had to struggle a little bit with him, was reaching down and out. He gave it to me a little bit at the end. And now into the walk transition. And he puts in a really nice active walk. And then we come and we do another short diagonal now in the free walk. Again, trying to get him to stretch down. He's just a little stuck. There he goes. A little different from Fledge, where Fledge would take the bit and really stick his head down and reach out over his back. You can see Rune's just a little stuck. Wants to play around a little bit. He got a little distracted by something on the hill. That's okay. To be fair, the boys haven't been in a dressage ring in a while, so super proud of how rideable they always are for me. 20-meter circle. Again, nice and consistent. Makes it easy to ride a good circle. Making sure I can get into my corners so I can ride a nice forward short side. And now across the diagonal again. Nice and straight. Really working on having both of my legs having equal pressure. Now working on the sitting trot, so I prepare him for the canter. And again, another 20-meter circle at B. Again, keeping the jump in the canter, trying to keep him nice and forward. And he does that really well. And now down to the down transition to trot. And now I'm going to prepare him to turn down the center line. You really have to be thinking about the center line in your corner, essentially, so you can be nice and straight. And working on preparing for the halt. And again, he puts in another super good halt. Very proud of him in his dressage test. And a very workmanlike effort. He's a really fun guy to ride in the test, so I was really proud of how he handled himself in there. Now moving on, we were also able to do a little jump class. So I put him in the, I think this is like the 2 foot. We had 2 heights, 2 foot or 2.6. So this is more so like a hunter class. And he's such a fun little horse to ride. He's got a good jump. Normally he likes to flick his tail over the fences when they're a little bit bigger. And he gets a little silly sometimes. He's really enjoying himself. And fix the lead change. There's his little tail flip. And now we come across the last diagonal, and he puts in such a nice, consistent round. He stays very steady. And he has a good little jump, and he's very proud of himself. He really does enjoy jumping. So it was a really fun class. I have a lot of fun always being able to ride in the different classes in the open show. And then we get to switch tack, and now we get to participate in the ranch class. So working on our walk, heading over to the marker where we are supposed to trot. You'll see he's a little fussy. The gnats were so bad. Just the bugs have been horrendous this summer. Now we pick up the trot. I have to say, it's really fun too, being able to play around, switch tack, work on some of the different disciplines. So working on the transition here as I turn the corner, going to do a lengthened trot. And then again, another transition to a slower trot. I come into the halt. And now we're going to pivot. And now pivot to the left. And then canter off in the left lead. Like I said, he's a super fun horse because he's very rideable. He has a great canter. So now I'm going to do a lengthened canter down, but I got to kind of keep his attention too. Sometimes he gets a little drifted in his focus. And now come back to a slower canter. And now I can do a flying change. He's got great changes. And then we will do a transition to trot. And then lengthen trot. And again, this just really shows the rideability of these horses. And then transition to a slower trot. And now coming down to our final halt. Or stop. It's Western. It's a stop. And then back. Super pleased with how well all of my horses did, but Rune did a really good job and put in solid performances in every class. So really pleased with how he did, and always a great time He's just such a good horse to have in the stable.